This is Father Vogel. We continue our series on St. Jean-Baptiste de La Salle's meditations in time of retreat, especially meant for teachers and those who are guiding the youth in following the Lord. So we're in the fourth meditation, which is what must be done to be true cooperators with Jesus Christ for the salvation of children. We've already seen that in the first point of this meditation that God himself is the one who's going to be doing the work. He's the one who's going to assist you to bring all of our children, our students, to salvation. He's doing the main work, and we are cooperators with him. He's the good shepherd guiding them, and we ourselves want to shepherd them in that direction. So now we get to the second point that he has. Jesus Christ, speaking to his apostles, told them that he gave an example to them, so that they may do as he has done. He also wanted his disciples to accompany him at all the conversions he brought about, so that seeing how he acted, they could be guided and informed by his conduct and all they would do to have to win souls to God. So Jesus Christ is the model for us. We need to pay attention to him. Often we can say, Christ the teacher. He is the model for all teachers. So if we want to know how do we do it, we have to turn to him. So, Father La Salle says, this is what you must do, because Jesus Christ has chosen you among so many others to be his cooperators in the salvation of souls. In reading the gospel, you must study the manner and means that he used to lead his disciples to practice the truths of the gospel. So if we are to learn from Jesus, who is our teacher, how we are to teach, then we need to follow him like the disciples. And in order to do that, we follow the Gospels and see what he does and how he interacts with people and how he guides them and how does he bring about conversion of their hearts, and really ponder all the things we find there. And that is how we will learn to be teachers after his own heart. So he says, sometimes he proposed as a happiness everything that the world holds in horror, such as poverty, injuries, insults, slander, and every kind of persecution for the sake of justice, even telling his disciples that they ought to be glad and rejoice when such things happen to them. At other times he inspired horror for the sins into which people ordinarily fall, or he'd propose virtues to practice such as gentleness, humility, and the like. So Jesus' proposal of happiness, he's referring here, we can see especially in the Beatitudes. The Beatitudes, sometimes people will look at that and be like, oh, that's a beautiful picture. Well, unless you actually pay attention to what Jesus is saying, this is very different from what the world says to make you happy. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Well, the world says, riches will be what makes you happy. And Jesus says, no, that won't make us happy. That rather we need to be poor not simply bank account wise, but poor through and through, so that we can be filled up with the riches of God, that we're not attached to so many of the possessions and things of this world. So if you go through those 8 Beatitudes, it's a beautiful meditation upon what will actually lead us to happiness. And that's so important. When I'm teaching our seniors in our theology class, I do go into the second semester, we talk about different topics of morality, and I always begin with morality has its basis in happiness. The God desires our happiness. Eternal happiness is beatitude. And so we talk about something of the Beatitudes and the levels of happiness, and how oftentimes, that's always what we're looking for. We want to be happy, but sometimes we're looking for the lower things rather than the greater things. An analogy I'll use, our children, might be, when they're younger, they can't think of anything better than to eat candy. But when they get older, they find there's other food that's even better than that. And so let's say, they really come to like, a wonderful steak or something. And, well, you don't want to eat candy while you're eating the steak because that would just ruin it. So it's the same kind of thing, is that, we have to learn to grow to understand what will truly make us fully happy. Because sometimes we settle for things that will only, temporarily make us happy versus the things that can make us eternally happy. He also mentioned there about inspiring a horror for sin into which people fall and propose the virtue. Sin really will make us unhappy, ultimately. And the growth in virtues, though difficult to do, ultimately is going to turn us into who we really want to be. And so as teachers, we want to strive to move our children in that direction. Father Salle says, Jesus also made them understand that unless their justice surpassed that of the scribes and Pharisees, who bother themselves only about external things, they would not enter the kingdom of heaven. So pointing out that it's not just, all the external things that we teach them to do is good, but there has to be an internal transformation within us. So just because you're doing all the right things on the outside doesn't mean you've transformed on the inside. You need both and. Lastly, he wanted the rich and those who have pleasures in the world to be regarded as unfortunate. I already talked about this a little bit, right? That you cannot serve both God and money at the same time. If to truly be happy, to be blessed, those that are poor in spirit are the most blessed. It is according to these and all the other practices of Jesus Christ that you must teach the Christian youth entrusted to you. So we want to know what to teach to our youth. Turn to Jesus as the source of that knowledge and that truth. God bless.